Away we go. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for spending a few minutes together and sharing Rotary stuff here. I'm starting all of our meetings by saying, you know, we've got our theme for the year, Rotary opens opportunities, and we certainly got some opportunities this year that we didn't expect. Instead of us having a chance to go for opportunities, they're kind of slapped us across the face, but we're doing the best we can with the things we got. But generally, I'm asking everybody, how you doing? Is everybody calm, cool, collected, ready to go? Brian, how are you feeling about things these days?
We had a board meeting today, and we voted to change our bylaws to change the committee structure.
Good. So, well, good. Well, I remember last time that we had you on the president's phone, you said you were trying to push some changes. So it sounds like you're making some changes now.
Yeah, we're trying to get geared up. We're going to have 4 main committees, and I've got some committed committee chairmen that are going to take each of those areas. I'm following in the president's manual, you know, the medium-sized club committee.
Right.
But we did have 25 committees before.
That became a bit, well, that's after, that would be like every person would have to be on, you'd have to have two different people on every committees to fill your club, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we had a lot of vacancies and a lot of committees of one.
Yeah, and I think a lot of clubs have a lot of committees of one, especially the smaller ones. Ivan, how are you doing?
Okay, just getting ready for the year and making progress. Trying to get committees, people to sign up where they'd like to serve, what they'd like to do. Had the board looking over the proposed budget and trying to update all the data for each individual member for our roster, but also then maybe I can clean up DAC-DB. It's kind of a mess.
Yeah. Okay, got that. So, Alan, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? Send us a little chat. Tell us how you're doing. He's working on it. There we go. Oh wait, he still looks like he's reconnecting now. So, Lynda, how are you doing while he's looking at that? You're muted now, Lynda.
Did that. Yeah. The dog was barking.
Yeah.
Plugging along. Yeah.
All right. That's good. Well, we'll move on while Alan's trying to get things hooked up back again. So, the next part of that is things we needed to do yesterday or need to do in the next 30 days. And one of them, of course, is getting your club officers lined up and put into my Rotary. And it sounded to me like, Ivan, you're currently working on that already. And Brian, how about you? Are you got your officers lined up and everything?
They're in DAC-DB. I don't know if those transfer over or not. I might have to look at that.
Yeah, Ivan and Lynda can both tell you about the some sort of convert feature that you can do where you can compare. The word is compare, right? I think it is, where you can compare both of those. And,
I don't know whether it compares to officers.
Yeah, well, I know some of them do. I'm not sure all of them do because some of them don't necessarily match up. But that's, you know, I know that most of the main offices are there. So, all right, looks like we got Alan back on the phone. He can hear us now, right, Alan? Yeah, he can hear us, but we still can't hear him. So he's trying. It's hard. It's hard when technology doesn't work, isn't it? So send us.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you now. Welcome.
I'm on my cell phone, and so I'm trying to figure out a good place to put it where I don't screw it up again.
Well, it's good. So. How you doing with your club officers? You got people lined up and ready to go?
Yes, sir, I do. And they're all into my Rotary and DAC-DB, and they seem to cross-reference each other.
Okay, sounded good. Now, as you all are painfully aware, I've sent you a series of emails over the past few days about the district training assembly next week, and inviting you to get all your club officers in those various areas to attend those sessions. It's interesting. I think we actually have a unique opportunity to have more people do this than normal because, you know, for all of you, getting over to Crossville for a meeting is kind of a pain in the butt, especially for a 1 or 1.5 hour meeting. And This way they can meet virtually for an hour and they're done. So hopefully your club secretaries and your treasurers and those kind of folks will get on and kind of listen to some of the things that are going on. So please encourage them all to do that to the extent that they have. Theme shirts. Lynda, have we passed out theme shirts? Yep, we got you muted again. So
They all
I
have
have
them.
mine.
They all have them.
okay. Are you guys all yours all fit okay?
I haven't tried mine on yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you
The only-
probably
The only person that doesn't have a shirt is Bonnie Gamble.
right. Yeah, and I have hers, and I'll be sending that. I'll be sending hers to you. So,
Okay,
and she ought to be able to get, I guess, Taylor's back from him, and we can make a swap or something. But
okay,
I'll be sending hers to you with something else I'm going to tell you about later. So,
okay.
Brian, yours should be okay. If you have an issue, let me know as soon as you can. But basically, what's been happening is most of the guys' shirts are running okay, and maybe even a little bit large. And we'd always rather have a little bit larger shirt than a little bit smaller shirt. So you shouldn't have any kind of issue. Some of the lady shirts, though, unfortunately, are running a little bit on the smaller side, and so that's creating some issues that we're swapping around. But if yours works, Lynda, then that's a good start. And if Marissa's is okay, then all we're dealing with is Bonnie's, and I've got Bonnie's ready to go. So we should be okay there. Well, I think most of you kind of talked about your committees already. Have you met with your board and worked on your budget? Again, a couple of you already talked about that. So, Alan, how about you? You said you're making progress there?
Have not met with the board yet.
Okay. You're planning to do it this month? Next week? Okay, so you are planning this month. Okay, Ivan?
Yes, again, we're in the process of finalizing it so we can present it to the members first week of July, first meeting. We're actually going to meet face to face in the morning.
Oh, great. So is it first time?
First time since, after Rotary Career Day in March. So,
Yeah, okay. Ivan, what's your club size now?
16.
Okay. And Brian, how about you?
This is 16. 12. I'm sorry, 12.
Okay, so you're about to have a meeting too. So okay, so everybody's moving forward. That's great. And you already talked about club goals and budgets and stuff. Always want to remind you about your membership roles. We're heading up toward the end of the year, so if you've got somebody who is going to drop off, or you need to drop them off because they haven't paid their dues in like 3 years, don't wait until July 1st to do it. Do it now, or do it sometime like that. Anybody who's dropped on June 30th or July 1st counts toward last year, our current year. Okay. But Rotary does some weird things with their year-end stuff. So if you've got anybody adding or dropping, you should try to do it. If they're dropping, try to do it before July or before June 30th. And if they're adding, don't do it on July 1st. Do it on July 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or something like that, because they just have some weird counting things that have to do with membership and calculations and stuff. So just be a little cautious. Are you hearing anything from your members about people who say, well, this is too hard for me, I'm not coming back, kind of thing? Are you hearing anything? I've been hearing anything from your guys. Everybody seems to be okay?
Seem to be. We've had meetings through Zoom, and nobody seems to be expressing any concern about not staying with the club.
Okay. Brian, what are you hearing up in Tullahoma?
Well, as far as we know, everybody's ready to come back.
Yeah, super. And Alan, same for the Breakfast Club, I hope, or Sunrise Club?
No, sir. It's quite different for the Sunrise Club. We've got, and you may have taken a look at our demographics, but we got several old guys, and one of the guys decided that he's had enough, and he's head of the liars table, and so he's decided he's had enough, and he's dragging about 3 or 4 with him, and they're all quitting. So
yeah.
And,
well, yeah.
Quitting is it's kind of a difficult word to say. These guys have been in since the Sunrise Club was formed. They've been in for 27 some odd years. And so I think they're just looking at it as a good time. They're late 70s, early 80s, and they're looking at it as a good time to maybe make a break for it.
Yeah. And
So
yeah.
my goal, my primary goal this year is to regenerate our club.
Right. Right. And I think that's that's probably a primary goal for a lot of our clubs, is to, get ourselves back on our feet and kind of reboot, so to speak. I can tell you when I was, when I was a club president back in 2011 and 12, the Alcoa Club was looking to fold, and we tried to bring them into the Maryville Club, and we basically merged them, trying to keep those folks. Well, what happened to us, Alan, was the same thing that kind of happened to you. They saw that as it's now their time to get out, so to speak. They had been.
Yeah.
They said, we've had enough Rotary. This is a good way for us to break away. Now, they weren't in their 70s. These were people who were, in their 40s and 50s, but
Right.
it happens.
They have some of that too. I don't know. I haven't heard any of it, but it wouldn't surprise me if several people think about
Well, that's right. And, and speaking from an international, perspective, there's obviously some concern about that, especially in some of these Latin American countries where the social part of Rotary is really important. I mean, even more important than it is here. It's all about having parties and, and dinner stuff down there. And if they can't meet in person, they may just walk away. So they may have some real membership issues in those kind of social environments. Okay, well, one other thing about the need to be done kind of thing, and then I got a couple things to add to it. If you haven't taken the course on preventing and addressing harassment, please be sure that you complete that. It doesn't take you long to do. It's about 25, 30 minutes max. And it's really helpful. And it's really important. I mean, Rotary takes.
That into my Rotary?
That's, you get into My Rotary and then you go to Learning Center.
Right.
Yeah, and the access to it, I think I laid it out in the PE session number 2.
Yeah.
Go back to that email, and I think it works from there, but I won't guarantee anything, because if it's technology, I will never guarantee anything if I wrote it. So, but I think Brian, that'll work. But all of us here on the line, I know, take this seriously too. So it's a good measure just to see how you're doing and keep in touch with things. All right, 3 things for you. And you don't necessarily have to write them down, because you'll get this list. You'll get a list tomorrow that'll have this stuff on it. But there's 3 pictures that I'm gonna need from you guys. Number 1, Ivan's already done this, but send me an individual photo that we can use for the district directory. Whatever photo you want to send. What normally happens is we get these pictures taken at Pets, and then the guy at Pets gives them the photos, and you don't have to do them, and I don't have to run them down. Well, none of us get that benefit this year. So whatever photo you'd like in the district directory, send it to me. Send it to me on my email, and please don't send it on the phone, because if you send it on the phone, it may not transfer over too well. So, and that's true of all 3 photos I'm going to ask for. The second one that I had mentioned to you all in an email way back was, once you get your shirts, get your theme shirts lined up, and everybody can meet again. See if you can find a time to get together, take a nice group photo, because I want to have a photo of the AGs and all their PEs and put them in the district directory and show our team. I want our team to be up front in our district directory. We don't need a picture of me shaking the hand with the Rotary Club or with the Rotary International president. We need our team up front. So that's what I want to do with our theme pictures here. And third thing.
So on these individual photos,
Yeah.
Mask or no mask?
You can do whichever way you want to, but probably no mask, I think. Again, we want to think a little positively about these kind of things.
I look a lot better with my mask on.
Well, yeah, I've been told that too, but I look better when I had hair too, but I can't do anything about that either. So you just kind of have to deal with it. So.
Well, Alan, I think it's going to depend on how close they put the pictures together in the directory.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's right. We don't have the 6 feet of
We're maintaining
separation.
6 inches of separation.
Hey, you guys have seen that. That stuff in there is pretty tight, right? I mean, you can hardly read it. So yeah, we have a little separation issue there. Okay, number 3, I want one picture from the following choices. There are 2 choices here. So either send me one good picture of a hands-on service project where you've got Rotarians in your club doing something, okay? Not just standing around holding shovels, but doing something, or a picture of Rotarians having fun at one of your fundraisers. Either one. Pick one, and that's happened in your club in the last year or so, or whatever. Send it to me and give me a 1-sentence description of it. Because again, I'm going to use it in either the district directory or the district newsletter. I want our clubs to, I want everybody in our district to be sharing kind of things that we're doing there, and highlight some of the things that we like doing with our clubs. Rotary doing service and Rotary having fun. Those are 2 really important parts of things that we do. Okay, let's talk a little bit about COVID. Obviously, it's created a series of challenges for us, and I still believe it's a short-term situation for us. We have the best minds in the world working on medical issues, but we are going to have people who are going to be uncomfortable in meeting until some people aren't going to want to meet in person until there's a vaccine. Some people won't want to meet in person until there's at least some remedy for people who get really sick, so that they don't die. So we're going to have to be a little bit flexible about how we provide opportunities for our members to be engaged. So of course, what Rotary is asking you to do is to, once you start meeting in person, is to try to provide an opportunity for those who can't come to participate with Facebook or Zoom or something like that. And I know that's going to be a bit of a challenge, but fortunately, we're all getting some experience with Zoom now, so there may be ways that we can kind of make that work. You can do things like, some clubs have been doing this for a while, is you can, if you're doing some sort of a live feed outside, you can actually record those so that people can go back and watch them later. I think I don't know how to do that for Facebook, but I know some clubs do that. We've been asked about, yeah, go ahead, Al.
On the district meetings, I was curious to know how they do a Zoom session that's shared on Facebook.
Yeah, there's some sort of a technical thing there. They set up the Zoom for the people who are going to be participating, and then they link that into the Facebook somehow, so that everybody who's on Facebook obviously can't be seen, right? They're totally out of things. They're just watching. So, but Greg Macciola can tell you how to make that work. So when in doubt, ask Greg, right? And when it comes to technical stuff, when in doubt, ask him. I have no clue. I got no clue about how to do that. Well, one of the suggestions I'm making to folks is if you don't do member moments or something like that, you might want to take a look at doing that now. That's where you have one of your members come up and talk for 2 or 3 or 4 minutes about where they're from, what they did when they were working, or if they're still working, what they're doing, why they got into Rotary, those kind of things. To get you a chance to learn more about each other. Because we have been physically separated for a while now, and it's a nice chance to kind of reconnect. Maybe you'll find out some things about some members that you didn't know, or maybe you had forgotten. Karen and I go to our club, and we don't really know half the people in our club because we've been gone so much for the past 3 years, right? 4 years. And so it's good when we do that. We don't do it now. We used to do it years ago, and we're going to try to restart that as we move into our new year. How about fundraising? Who's been impacted on fundraising from the COVID thing? Ivan, have you been hit with anything yet?
Yeah, we really got hit hard. The club had a typical traditional horse show booth, and we did not do it last fall, primarily because we didn't have the workforce, and also the return of 10 nights work just was not, was not effective. And then our annual Rotary tournament, golf tournament, was canceled in May. So we actually went through a whole year without a fundraiser.
Wow.
That will be one of our challenges this year, to come up with probably 2 new ones and try to get our golf tournament in next May.
Yeah. Okay. Alan, how about you?
We had 2 service projects that we weren't able to do. One involving a cleanup and redistribution around the Shepherd's House here in Tullahoma, and the other one was to do a pretty thorough cleaning and scrubbing of the disc golf course in Tullahoma. And
Right.
Lynda, if there's any others that I may have not known of, just jump right in there. I have an ace in the hole. Lynda's also in our club, so those are the 2 that come to mind immediately that we had scheduled for good weather, early spring, and we just didn't do them.
Yeah.
And they're to be done. I mean, we can do those at any time. It's just that we haven't done them in this current year.
Right. Yeah. Because you normally do your Frisbee thing about May, don't you?
We were looking at March, April time frame, and then we thought, okay, April, but sometime in March the disaster hit, so we hadn't done it yet.
Yeah.
The only fundraiser we have had has been the hot shots, the shooting at Templar. We have a Templar indoor shooting range, and that's the only fundraiser that we've had this year, as far as a fundraiser.
Indoor
Much
shooting
money
range.
did you raise, Lynda?
That is, Alan put it out this morning to see if we wanted to do it again. I tell you, for the amount of time that we spent there, the rate of return is exponential. As the treasurer, I hope we do it again. And it seems to be the people that have come have really enjoyed themselves. So I'm hoping that the club decides to do it again, because people did have a good time. And
Is that something you can do with social distancing?
yes.
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah.
Some might disagree, but yeah, you go into the booth and you're physically separated from the guys next to you. You just
So really, basically, is as long as you're careful bringing them in and out, then everybody should be okay, right?
Well, we're all under the control of Richard Brooks there at Templar, and so we basically don't make a move until he tells us to.
Yeah. Okay, Brian, how about the noon club?
We didn't have any routine service projects because I guess we're more into check writing, but we do a Memorial Day service that we generally plant a tree and memorialize our lost Rotarians, and we did not do that.
Yeah, and it's just, you really can't reschedule that. I mean, and that can be really tough. So how are you guys doing in terms of reaching out to your members who haven't been coming? Well, first of all, are you all trying to meet now virtually? So
No.
yes, no? Have you met at all? Brian, you haven't met at all, have you? Okay, all right. And Ivan?
Yeah, we've met every 2 weeks. I think we started that in April, but again, we're going to meet face-to-face this tomorrow morning. We basically have just used a lot of texting and emails, checking on one another.
Okay. And Brian, I'm going to come back to you in a minute. So Alan, what are you all doing? Yep. We lost him again.
Okay.
There we go.
No,
now we got you.
I couldn't figure out which way the toggle button works on my smartphone. We met twice. Today was the most recent meeting, and I took some notes. I sent the notes out to all the folks that came online to meet with us today. By the way, it's only 9. And so we still got folks that read the email and decide they just don't want to do it for whatever reason.
Yeah. So
anyway, that was about the same participation rate the last we've been meeting every other week virtually, and trying to have something positive to share with the group when we meet. And so this morning, I talked to the group, the small group, about my plans for next year. And I sent them out in a Word document to each of the members and have requested input from them. And so I expect in the next couple of days, I'll be making phone calls to the folks that almost never reply to any of my emails. So we'll see how that happens. Lynda, did you get your email?
If I don't think I did. I scrolled
There
through
you
the emails. I did not get it. And usually I get stuff from you. It doesn't end up hang on, I'll tell you in a sec. That's
okay. I know it got out to most folks. We had a discussion today by using the P-mail function in DACDB. If you blast it out to all of your membership, one of our Rotarians suggested that it does something to the system. And Brian, you could probably speak to this too. It does something to the system that throws it into their spam. So I almost never check my spam, but if I do, I probably find a couple of key messages in there that I haven't bothered to look at.
Yeah. That is the one thing about as being the district governor or an assistant governor or as a club president. We've got to check our spam a lot more than we used to, because who knows what's going to end up there. Now, Brian, you said you haven't had any meetings. Is your club reaching out to folks, or are you doing phone calls, or are you just nothing's going on?
We have a committee for that, and currently nobody's on it.
Oh, you got some work to do, don't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like we've dropped the ball on that, but that's something that could be improved on.
Yeah. So you're crossing your fingers about what's going to happen when July 1st rolls around in terms of members.
We don't know how many people we're going to get back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is a real challenge for you. What about dues and billings and things like that? In my club situation, we bill semi-annually, so we beat the COVID issue, and lunches are essentially optional, except for the folks who pay for 6 months at a time, and most of those are business paid stuff. So we didn't have an issue with any of that. But how did that impact you guys now, and what are you thinking about moving forward, Brian? What are you thinking about that? Because obviously you're going to be the one leading the charge there, probably.
Yeah, we decided that today. We bill quarterly, and we had billed for the quarter ending in March, but we missed 2 meetings, and so coming in June, we'll probably have 2 or 3 meetings before July 1. So we're just not billing for that quarter.
Okay. Ivan, what are you guys going to do, or have you been doing?
We typically just bill annually and send out reminders to those who don't pay it as quickly as they should. But I think we're in pretty good shape that way.
Do you guys have optional meals? Well, you have a breakfast.
Yeah, people can eat or they can pass. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a pay as they go kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And that, from a billing standpoint, that obviously makes it easier. So
very, very much so. And really, when you say dues to new members, it's rather appealing.
Yeah. Okay. Alan, how about Sunrise?
I believe we bill quarterly, monthly, or annually, and I think with only a couple of exceptions, folks that have fallen behind, we're pretty well caught up.
Okay.
So it's not a big issue for us. And Linda's shaking her head, so
she's the treasurer. She knows.
She's my treasurer, so like I said, I have an ace in the hole right here. So
she is the treasurer. She knows. Okay. All right. I've got a couple
By the
of.
way,
Yeah,
Ron Poon,
yes.
Did you get a check from us for Heart to Heart?
I did. Thank you.
Okay.
It has been sent to the district, so
Okay. All right.
it will clear.
Okay.
It will clear. Thank you. Okay. 2 announcements, and I'm going to read this to you, and you'll get this in writing, so you don't have to write it down. But I want you to. and I will be repeating this to the club secretaries next week during the district training assembly, so they will hear it well. But number one, the district will no longer collect monthly attendance information. Now, clubs are still strongly encouraged to continue tracking attendance by each club's methods, especially for your in-person club meeting or /Zoom club meetings, as a measure of club member engagement. What we're trying to do here is we're not trying to get anybody to change how they do their attendance. Some people are loose with it. Some people are really strict about it, and they want to track makeups and perfect attendance and all that stuff, and that's fine. But it's the club's decision about how you do that. The two things we want you to do: number one, we want you to be aware of the fact that people who you need to know who is actually attending your meetings, because of course there's billing issues involved when there's meals that you're paying for. But the other thing, it is a measure of member engagement, and whether or not your club is maybe serving some of your members' needs. But what we don't need is, you can do makeups now for a year. you can do a makeup that's a year later now. And so monthly attendance reports are really kind of useless, because as soon as you turn it in, it could be out of date. And quite frankly, the district doesn't do anything with it. It's more important for you to know what you're doing with your own club. So again, we encourage you to keep it. We are not wanting you to change what you're doing in that way, because it's the club's business. We're just trying to eliminate one administrative burden. That's all we're trying to do here. So everybody understand and okay with that? One less thing we have to deal with? Okay. All right. Number two, and this is a similar kind of thing. The district will no longer collect service hours on a monthly basis for a similar kind of thing. Now, clubs are still expected to, and I'm going to use the word expected to, track your service activities. It is important that you know your service activities and that you are, keeping track of what things you are doing, and then report some hours in the manner best suited for your club, whether that's tracking individuals or just an estimate or something like that. Put it in Rotary Club Central, put it in your annual report, and let the assistant governor know from time to time how that's going. But again, it's important to continue to track your service activities so that you know what you're doing. You want to have a feel for which members are doing what kind of projects, again, because of member engagement. But whether or not you track every hour for every person is totally up to you. You can do it whatever way is best, for your clubs. Again, the district isn't going to use it. To me, it is more important that you're doing service activities than you are worried about whether you're counting every hour for everybody. So that's the message there. Again, we're not trying to get anybody to change how they're doing their service or to do any less service. We'd like it. We hope that might actually encourage more service, knowing that you don't have to track every single hour that you're doing it. But again, it's really about doing away with an administrative responsibility. So everybody okay with that? Understand that? What we're trying to do here? We're trying to stay out of your way. This is what we're trying to do. We got you. We want you to know what you're doing, but we don't want to get in your way. Okay, district calendar, and you've all seen the amended calendar, where basically just about everything until December 31st is going to be virtual or canceled. Two things to add that are important in terms of in person. We do plan on having the president-elect orientation and the grants training live in Crossville as scheduled in September and October. So you'll want to have your successors ready to go. I always recommend going to the September one in case something happens and you can't go, and then you've got October as your fallback. And obviously, we'll want Lynda to be there as well. Clearly, we'll have to offer this virtually because there will be some people who will be uncomfortable in going, even if we have no issues with spreading out. And for those of you, you guys, remember being in Crossville last year, there's a huge auditorium, so you can meet there and spread people out. And that is the issue. The issue might be, can we even get into school, right? We don't know what the situation is going to be,
Yeah.
In
Right.
either month. So it's still a little bit in flux. The importance for that is for all of you to kind of just say, gather together, do a little the face to face. It's really important, especially I think for you to get up close and personal with with your governor, because for me, having all of you show up last October to September is a huge boost for me. I mean, it's really energizing. You can you feel the energy in the room. You have no idea how great I feel about our presidents coming in, because of the fact that we were all there in September and October, and we had a chance to kind of get to know each other just a little bit. So the other thing that we're planning to do is right now we're still planning to do the Duncan Purple Pinky Day. And I don't know to what extent each one of your clubs is involved. We're going to try to get every club involved. If we do it, we're going to try to get every club involved, find a way, to make it happen, and try to blow that sucker out of the water. It's been a huge success in the past 2 years. So if we can do it, we're going to try to really make it happen. We won't be able to do it on World Rotary Day because Polio Day, because that is a Saturday. So what we have, we've worked with the Duncan people, and we're going to be doing it on a Tuesday, and it's likely that's what's going to happen in the future, because World Polio Day keeps moving, and if we're going to do that kind of thing, you want to stay away from weekends. You probably want to stay away from Fridays, those kind of things. So. So you'll probably be looking even moving in the future that that Tuesday closest to the World Polio Day is probably going to be the day we do it, moving from now on. Now everything after January 1st right now is a go. So that means the district team training seminar in February is a go. That's really for AGs and for the committee heads. President-elect training in Chattanooga is still a go. So. We're obviously hoping that's not going to be impacted by anything by that point. Right now, we're still planning to do the district conference cruise, but that may be a little shaky, because you've got the issue of where will COVID be at that point, and where will the cruise industry be at that point, and will people be willing to get on a cruise until there's a vaccine? So to address that possibility, we're going to be sending you tomorrow. You're going to get one more email from me, and it's going to have the survey on it, and I'll explain a little bit about the survey later. It won't take you long to do. So we line up some alternatives. The other thing about the district calendars, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the fact that my district governor visits are all going to be virtual, but I still want to get to the clubs sometime during the year, which means I'll probably be coming in the winter and the spring. So you can take a look at the calendar for the second half of the year and see those dates when you can't get me, and say, okay, well, then he's open all these other days. Can he come to this fundraiser or this event or whatever the case might be, and try to find something that I can come over and say hi and try to get something locked in. Because I'm pretty sure we'll be traveling by then, hopefully way earlier than then, but surely, by then we'll be in a situation where I can come over and say hi in some form or fashion, because meeting, the fun part about being district governor is being with the clubs. I mean, that's our number one highlight, right? And not being able to do it at the club meeting with the official visit is a real drag for me. But some of the club members probably could care less. But at least we want to get a chance to kind of get over and say hi. So we will make that happen. It just won't happen as early as we want it to be. And right now, we're still planning to do all the virtual meetings on the dates that are scheduled.
Okay.
And I'm looking to see, Alan, you're actually probably you guys are like second up. And so my question for you is are you going to be okay on that day, or do you want to do it some other time? And you don't have to answer that now, but in the next couple of weeks, think about that, because again, one of the things, because it's going to be virtual, I actually have a little more flexibility. It's easier for me to move it because I don't have to worry about the travel part of things. So
I got you.
So
I'm just trying to think through the process, and given our situation, can we I want everybody to see you some way.
Right.
And so, trying to figure out how to receive you via, I assume a Zoom session, and then somehow project that up on the wall so you're larger than life up on the wall.
Oh God, that's a scary thought, but I know what you're
You know
saying. Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know. Yes, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
We can receive it, but how do we cast it up there? I guess through a projector. I don't know.
You guys are still meeting in the church you have been for a while, right?
So far, we are.
Okay.
We haven't since March, and there's been some discussion about getting with the church and maybe some other places to look at changing our venue.
Right. But of course, you have to, all of you have the same issues. There are limited issues or limited choices in your towns, right? Everybody's got space issues and access issues. So, but anyway, but we can be flexible with that, Alan. So, if we need to move it, that's not an issue.
Okay.
So, whatever
right,
you need, whatever you need, we can make it happen because, hell, that's only like 5 weeks from now, right? It's going to be here 5 or 6 weeks. 6 weeks from now, and that's pretty soon. And you have a lot on your plate. So if it helps you to move it, we can do it. We can do it. So
thank you.
We'll just leave the schedule, but we'll change it whenever you're ready. Whenever you and Lynda want to talk about it, and then we'll get it worked out. So. I think Ivan and Brian, you guys are a little bit later, so I think we got plenty of time to work that out and kind of take it from there. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the district governor citation. We all know that we don't know what's going to happen in the next few months. How is COVID going to impact what we can do in terms of our membership? What's it going to do in terms of our fundraising? What's it going to do in terms of our service projects? How's it impacting people economically? Some of our members are probably hurting more than others. And what does that mean for some of our club goals? So right now I'm still thinking optimistically that this will be a semi-short-term situation and people will be able to recover. And and Rotarians in our district have a real good reputation for stepping up to our challenges, whether it's there was a fire in Gatlinburg or it's tornadoes that we had in 2 areas of the district in the last couple of months, and people rise to the challenge. So for now, at least we're saying, hey, we think you can still do Star Club stuff and Globe Club stuff and polio eradicator stuff and the stuff that you normally knock out of the box. We think you can still knock it out of the box. But we will be like you as we see how the next 2 or 3 months, come around, and we may all have to change our goals and our budget. So, we're going to be flexible with it. If we have goals that are unattainable for our clubs, we'll change them because we're not trying to set you up. We don't want to set you up to fail. We want to set you up for realistic goals for you. And if our goals become unrealistic because of things that you all can't control and we all can't control, then let's change it. Because that's not why we have our goals. We don't do it for a negative purpose. We do it for a real positive purpose. Now, the one thing that I've got on there on our goal sheet is you can get the governor citation with in distinction if you're part of the 100 program, which is an optional deal. And I've challenged all the assistant governors to try to work with their clubs in their group and consider sponsoring one of the 100 projects in Mexico for next year. And this is a case, by the way, where you don't need to cash on July 1st because they're not going to be able to do anything for the next 6 months, right? So we're not talking about looking for any money until the springtime anyway. But there's opportunities for you guys to work together on this so that nobody has to have a big amount of money involved, and we can do something down there to really help make a difference in that. Lynda's got a copy of the types of projects you can look at. I'm going to send you one copy of that as well with that email tomorrow. She's got a copy of all the project applications in case you wanted to look at anything individually. So Well, we'll work through you to help to have you take a look at it to see if it's something you can do. Both of the Tullahoma clubs have been heart-to-heart sponsors for quite a while. Shelbyville maybe once, a long time ago, Ivan, but it hasn't.
Yeah, it may have been a long time ago.
Been a long time ago. Fayetteville a couple of times, and that was a long time ago. Manchester's never done anything, so it's going to be an interesting group, but it's still possible. There are ways to make it hot and make it happen, and it is not going to. We can find a smaller project that you guys can do that'll fit in. So anyway, just give it some thought as you're working through your things for the club. Now we're moving to page 2. My page 2, and this is going to go a lot faster. So we are doing great. Okay, communication as opportunities. We are going to provide an opportunity for quarterly club president meetings via Zoom where you guys can talk to each other. Basically, we set up an optional Zoom meeting on X day at X time, and if you want to come to the meeting, you can. If you can't, that's fine. Sending in some questions and comments ahead of time so we can have a couple of focus things, but it's really so that you all can trade comments about what's going on, what's going well, what's going badly, where do I need some help, that kind of thing, and kind of talking to each other to give you a chance to go outside of your AG group to find out how things are going and see if you can pick up any ideas. Our first one will probably be in like the middle of August, because by that time we'll all have 6 weeks under our belt, and we can kind of look back and say, okay, we're 6 weeks in. What's happened, right? Are we doing great? Are we doing bad? What kind of surprises do we have? And of course, you're talking now, that's 2 months from now, and our situation with the COVID thing is going to be different. We just don't know how it's going to be different, right? Is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? It probably isn't going to be the same, because it doesn't seem to be the same any 2 days in a row. So, but it'll give us a chance to kind of trade things. And I don't know whether or not I don't think you guys have been meeting on any regular basis as presidents, but I'm encouraging you all as incoming presidents to consider meeting with Lynda on Zoom once a month to kind of talk about things. Some of the AGs and clubs in our districts have been doing this for a while, and actually they've been doing it live, and Zoom makes it even easier. But it's a good chance for you to talk about what's going on with your clubs, what are some of the good ideas and what's working and what's not. So you give it some thought. Maybe monthly works for you, maybe every 6 weeks, maybe every couple of months, whatever. But it's an opportunity. Zoom provides us with an opportunity, because you guys are a little more physically separated than they are in, say, Knoxville, right? I mean, Knoxville's been doing this for a long time. Ivan knows that. But you guys have some mileage issues down there in terms of meeting physically. So Zoom provides you an opportunity to do this this kind of thing and share ideas. Okay. So something to be thinking about. Okay, 3 other things to add to it real quickly here. I don't think any of you are doing this yet, so please include me in whatever kind of weekly or monthly mailings or emails or things that you give to your club members. Club bulletins, whatever. So I know what's going on your club. I really like to see those as if I am one of your club members, so I can see what's going on, and hopefully that'll make me a little more cognizant of all the things that you're up to. Might actually help me too when I see some of your plans about what you're looking at down the line. It might help with our scheduling too when I know about that earlier. So something that'll help us. Okay, number 2. Tell us, and by us I mean either Lynda or me or any other district person, if there's something you need from us or from the district or something, or in some way we're not meeting your needs, let us know. Don't hesitate to ask or tell us. We are here to help your clubs and you. I mean, that's Rotary is all about, our clubs and our members. And people at the district level, people at the zone level, people at the international level are only there to help make the clubs have the best possible experience that they can. So let us know when we can help you with that, or let us know when we need to get out of your way. I mean, that's the other thing, just let us know whenever we're not doing something and we can help you. And at the end of the year, if we've done something, that you like, you let us know about that too, so that we don't give it up. That's one of the things that one of the brand new things that I'm going to bring up with the governor's committee next week is, these district meetings that Greg has had, I think have been a really interesting way to connect with folks. And so I'm thinking about, and I don't have Greg's technical expertise, and we're not going to do it weekly, but I'm thinking that we might have a monthly district governor club meeting similar to what he's doing, just to give people an opportunity to see each other and probably focus each month on the monthly theme, so that we've got some sort of common starting ground. But I think that's been a really successful thing, and so that I think is a good idea that Greg has brought in. That we're going to try a little different approach, because it's a little different circumstance. But I think it's something we want to see if that'll help our club members be engaged and maybe hear some things and have a chance to share. Let's see. Okay, investing in your club is the next category, and again, this is a little bit harder for smaller clubs like Ivan's, but and Alan, you're in the same situation. But if you can find somebody in your club to track the awards, try to talk that person into doing it. Preferably somebody who could do it for more than 1 year, and somebody who's not your president-elect, or your club secretary. Because there's a lot of potential district and even RI awards that every club can get, and if you got somebody who's working on it and that's their quote unquote job, then they can help you move things along. And along with that, it's obviously also a good idea to find somebody who can be your DAC DB, my Rotary Club Central expert. Again, someone who's not your president-elect, or your club secretary or treasurer. And I know that's a little, that's always a challenge. And I know that Greg talked to all your clubs this year about that same thing. But it is important, if you can do it, it can really help you. And the one thing that that Greg will do is, he's willing to meet with small groups to help with training in all of those areas. He's going to be our DAC DB guy next year. I mean, he already is, but at least he'll have a little more time, next year to actually do it. So it's a great opportunity for the clubs coming up. So
yeah, the one guy that I get more emails from than I receive from you is a dude by the name of Michael Sowen, and he sends me emails all the time about this training. You need to do this training, and it's only 5 hours long. It's 1 hour and 10-minute break, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's you can go through DAC those, he's a DAC DB guy, and they're going through a lot of real details there, maybe more than your regular person wants to know. But that opportunity is there. There's no doubt about it. And of course, in cases when you want to try to have some sort of presidential ladder where you've got your president-elect, and president nominee lined up again. With your smaller clubs, it's often you're just trying to find next year's person, right? I mean, that's if you're there, you feel that that's a real success. So it just kind of do the best that you can. Brian, do you guys have a ladder in your? Well, I call it a ladder. Do you have a ladder in the Tullahoma Club, in the new club? No, you don't. Okay. Well, that's something you guys could do, because you have you have enough members to be able to line up your presidents and over a 3-year term, so that you're not constantly looking for somebody. It takes a little bit of pressure off. One of the things I am doing, Ivan, is I'm encouraging all the clubs to be talking about club visioning. And what I'm telling them is, Rotary is about to undergo some change, and so club vision is something that you want to look at. Now, the timing on this may be something that you want to be thinking about. you don't want to be doing club visioning right now because you don't know what's going to happen over the next 6 months. But
Right.
but minimally, what you want to be thinking about is what happens in the spring. Can we think about it in the spring? And even if you don't think about it in the spring, lay the groundwork so that you can do some club visioning when your term is done and the next person comes in. You can lay the groundwork for your club for next year if you can't do it this year. And I can tell you, our club did our visioning about 3 years ago. And even though we haven't done like a lot of clubs, we haven't stuck much with it, but it does come up from time to time, and it has helped us focus a little bit better. So even doing it half right is better than not doing it at all. And I think as we get to, I think when we get out of COVID next year, I think we're going to come back and revisit it, because we've got some people coming up who feel more strongly about that. And so I definitely encourage you to be working toward club visioning for your goal, and it can help a club of any size. Because it's a really good program. Ivan's got a wonderful team, and of course you've got Ivan next door, so you guys got everything you want there. So
I think Al and I have
Yeah.
already talked about the possibility of doing that jointly with
Yeah.
the Sunrise, and Lynda Welty had suggested us doing a visioning process. Somehow dovetailing them, just to make sure we're all together on the same page.
Yeah, and I think in your situation that makes a whole lot of sense.
I think it'd be an exciting event. Actually, Shelbyville has had a visioning event. Manchester did theirs February of this year. We've done one in Fayetteville 2 or 3 years ago, I believe.
Yeah.
And Lynda, your club years ago. So
I-
I think Tullahoma Noon is the only one we have not done, but for Tullahoma it would be great to do it together.
Yeah, super idea. Okay, so I'm sort of preaching to the choir here, but still I think it's important. I am sharing that with everybody. So because I really think that we're right now we're all concerned about the next month or two, but we really need to be thinking long term, because Rotary's in it for the long term, and we're here for our clubs for the long term, and that's an important part about making long term work. So let's all kind of see what we can do to make that happen. And my last thing about investing in your club is essentially investing in yourself, and that's delegate, and don't be afraid to ask people to do things. When I talked about asking for an awards person, I am telling you, this is my only when I was president story, is you don't want to do like I did when I was club president. And I got up there and I said, well, I need an awards person who would like to take on that job. And as you might imagine, what happens, you could hear the crickets, right? That never ever works. And then if you don't go ask people, then you end up doing it. So you really don't want to have to do. So when you have something that you want something to do, find a good Rotarian to ask them. And 3 things are going to happen. Number one, they could say yes. Rotarians are pretty good about once if they don't say no to becoming a member, then it's harder for them to say no after that. So if you ask them, they're more likely to say yes. Every once in a while, someone will say, no, I'm not interested, go away. But sometimes people will say, no, I'm not really interested in that, but Fred would be really good at that. So then you can go ask Fred. Now, of course, you may get bounced around two, 3, 4 times, but at least somebody's talking to you. So again,
send Fred to me.
That's right. So it's an opportunity for you. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the club visit, because like I said, they're all going to be virtual, barring any significant changes in the COVID situation on a local and national basis. So right now I'm planning for all of them to be virtual at this point. It does create some interesting challenges for us. One of them, of course, is meeting with our club boards. Traditionally when the governor comes, you meet with your club board before or after the meeting. Well, if you're doing a virtual meeting, that's not going to work too well, right? Because you've got different venues and those kind of things. So we'll have to figure out how we're going to work around that. Of course, one of the things I'm hearing is some of these clubs that have started meeting with their boards are getting better turnout for the board meetings virtually, and they're planning to keep meeting with their boards virtually and not even tying it, to their meetings. And that could work. I could sit in on one of those as well. So that's an opportunity that we can work on as we get there. Most of the things that I had on the list are, it's still going to happen. Lynda will introduce me with a short, pre-prepared introduction, and it will be short. So if it runs long, Lynda's ad-libbing. It's not something I gave her. So you guys will know, and that's fine. Interestingly enough, I think and Ivan knows this well. Lynda does too. I'm not a very technology guy. So here I was planning this club visit with no technology. I was going to bring a flip chart. I was going to bring props, no technology. And now what am I doing? They're all going to be Zoom calls. Oh my gosh. You talk about an unexpected COVID, consequence. Here you go. But we're going to make the best of it work. There are some props that I could probably work in. It won't be as good as it would have been. And one of the things that I will be doing, and I will remind you of this as we get closer, at the beginning of the program, I'm going to ask one of your club members to answer the question about what is and this is not you as president, but just club members, what is your favorite fundraiser? And I'm going to ask another club member, what is your favorite service activity or service project? And that gives and these will be two people who you pick ahead of time, and they'll have the questions, so they'll be ready and all that stuff. But it gives them a chance to talk a little bit about what's important to them in the club. Because again, Rotary is about doing service. A lot of us are Rotary is about doing service and having fun and letting people see each other doing something. So I want a chance for your club members to be part of this program. We can still do that virtually. It would have been better if we'd have been in person, but virtually we could still make it happen. Because I wanted this to be about everybody seeing their other club members getting involved in the situation. Now the other part of it, and this is the part that hurts me probably more than anything. And here comes your spoiler alert. So here you go. Okay. At the end of the governor's program, we're going to finish with a session that involves the presentation of this little guy to each one of you. Now, as you can see, there's a
Trumpy bear.
this is a little teddy bear, and there's a little shameless plug for Heart to Heart on there. But there's a reason why you're getting this bear, and I'll explain that at the end. But your role, and I'll be mailing these, Lynda, to you, along with the T-shirt. Okay, so Lynda will get you your teddy bear, and you have to keep your teddy bear locked up until the governor comes. And then when the governor comes, you bring it to your meeting, and when it's time, you hold up your teddy bear. Okay, and then you'll see where it all kind of ties into it. And Lynda, you get one too.
That's really funny you say that. When I was club president, someone gave me a teddy bear that the man that was doing the presentation on Teddy Roosevelt. And I always ended the club meeting with, life without Rotarians would be unbearable.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Ooh, I might have to steal that line or add it to it or something like that. So. Well, anyway, Lynda, you have to bring your teddy bear when I do the Tullahoma Sunrise one.
All right.
Because you would have been presented at that time. So, but there's a story behind this, and you hear it. I will tell you that these bears were made in Mexico. They didn't come from China or anything like that. They were made in Mexico, and they've been hand carried from Mexico by myself and Rosa Mar from the Bearden Club. And I can tell you that you can fit exactly 30 of these in a large suitcase. So number one, I can tell you how many you can fit in a suitcase, and number two, I can guarantee you that TSA checks every bag with teddy bears in it, which I guess doesn't really surprise any of us.
They probably thought you were bringing in illegal drugs in the teddy.
Oh yeah. Now I still haven't figured out why this teddy bear has a hoodie. I'm not sure why people in Mexico need a hoodie, except that surprisingly enough, Mexico City at 7,500 feet. It's 48 degrees in the morning, so that's probably why I has a little hoodie on it. So, okay, a couple of remarks, and then I'll ask for some questions and answers, and then I have a wrap-up thing. Okay, as I said, I will be sending you one more email this week. You'll get it tomorrow morning. It will have your agenda, but it'll be 2 pages with all the notes that we talked about. So you'll have it there for your reference if you want it. You'll have another copy of the 100-100 program description. You'll have a list of the 100-100 projects for you to look at. And you'll also have that survey, and the survey will be on the email itself. So all you have to do is check the boxes and email it back. Don't have to download it or anything like that. It's easy to do. So take you about 3 to 5 minutes to do that. The other thing I had was, the question about global grants. Are any of you planning any global grants next year? I think the answer is no, but I just want to make sure. So, okay, because I'm pretty sure I don't even have to ask Fayetteville and Manchester, so I think we're pretty safe there. So, okay, just kind of double checking because we want to make sure that we use our Rotary Foundation funds, and everybody has equal access to what our needs are. So, all right, anybody have any questions or comments or anything before I've got your Ron 2.5 minute wrap up here. And then we'll be done, and we can all say good night. So, questions, comments, or anything like that?
Good.
Brian's good. Ivan, by the way, you did a nice job. Actually, all you guys did a really nice job today during that session. It was really, really enjoyable.
Thank you, Ron. I'm sorry to interrupt with the rest of the group, but just a quick question in my role as Global Scholar Committee Chairman. Obviously, it's really quite good that we did not have a candidate and try to send them someplace this year.
Right.
I don't know if that will be the same story. It's called Global Scholar and District Scholar, but we have never really sat down and created a criteria guideline. And I've asked the committee to challenge them to begin to work on something like that. I've looked at some other districts and what they do with district scholars, and it's all over the board.
Right.
So I don't know if in your budget that's ever actually been budgeted for. So I just wanted to tell you that I'd like to work on that and be working with you during this year if we could actually set up something that has some meat to it, if that's okay.
Sure. No. Well, 2 things. Number one, I think working on something with meat is obviously a wonderful idea, and I'll help you as I can with that. Number 2, I am starting to work with Debbie on looking at our DDF items, and Global Scholars is one of the things on there right now with a 0 on it, but it's on there so that nobody forgets it's on there. Because one of the things and Cindy is going to be involved in this conversation as well, because looking at district designated funds, this isn't just a 1-year deal, because how you spend your money may impact somebody else moving on. So in your case, you might be looking for a Global Scholar now, but it won't be funded until next year maybe. So that's where we need to be working longer term. So yeah, we want to include you with that process. So thank you for bringing that up. I am aware of the financial thing, and that's why I wanted to let you know it's on the radar.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anything else for anybody?
Just a quick comment. As I was putting in my goals, it basically on Rotary Central, it has this long list of goals that you select from.
Right.
And then you set your targets based on those. I had 3 that I couldn't find on their social activities update website and media stories. I had those highlighted to enter into Rotary Central, but I didn't find it on Rotary Central. If it's on there and I just haven't found it, that's fine.
Yeah.
If it's not on there.
Yeah, it isn't on here because what Rotary has done, and your class is kind of they started a little bit this year, but your class is the real guinea pig for this. Is their intention is to have that kind of a shopping list moving forward, where they have 25 or so pre-selected choices, and that's it. And then that's right, and you have to, and that's all you can do stuff over and above that, but they're not going to track it because they have those 25, and then they can automatically say, okay, you've got it and you don't, and you know,
I got you.
and those
Okay.
kind of things. So now that doesn't mean, Alan, that you shouldn't do those things. You just,
No, I got it.
you
Yeah.
just can't, they don't, there's no spot for them to handle.
Yeah.
You know, some of it is they're trying to make it easier and more consistent with their presidential citation, which is a good thing. The other thing,
Right.
of course, that we always have to keep in mind is we are talking about 35,000 clubs in 200 countries with 27 languages. So yeah, we kind of have to do that. So, okay, everybody ready to wrap this up? This is where you shake your head up and down again. So, okay, here we go.
Yes.
Okay.
Ivan is about to disappear.
Yeah. So yeah, Ivan's getting himself ready for bed. He's got the lights half out and everything.
If I roll backwards, I'd actually disappear.
Number one, take a deep breath. We're all going to be fine. We'll get through this. And number two, stay positive. Stay positive. Rotary is a very positive thinking organization. I'm a pretty positive thinking guy. I think our district is pretty positive looking. Our group of AGs are very positive people. I think you all are very positive thinkers. I certainly got that energy from you guys last fall. And, you know, two things. Number one, I believe that people who think positively have better things happen for people who think positively. I think that's true. And number two, if you think positively, your club will know that, and it will rub off on them, and you will do better, and it will make your year easier too. So stay positive, and we'll make things happen. Number three, have confidence in your team. You know, you've got good people in your clubs. They'll be there to back you up. Number four, and COVID has really kind of helped bring this to light. Every member we have has, you know, different needs. I mean, just think about all the various ways that people can't attend meetings now. You know, it used to be if Joe didn't show up, it was because he was probably either sick or he was out of town at work or they were on vacation. Well, now Joe might not, you know, attend one of your meeting virtually because he doesn't have a computer, or his computer isn't working today, or there's several technology things too. So everybody's got, you know, the different needs. So we have to be even more patient than we normally are when people are, you know, talking to us. So patience and listening is a real virtue for all of us. As we look at these most challenging times since World War II, I move forward feeling pretty good about how we all are going to do, because I think we have a tremendously talented group of PEs, including everybody on this line. I've got a lot of confidence in you all. We've got incredibly talented assistant governors. We're very fortunate that, well, first of all, we have Ivan just rolling off, and so, you know, he's there to help us, and then Lynda's coming through a second time. So you all are really in strong shape there. We have the best assistant governors in our two zones. And that's not me just blowing smoke, because I can tell you from talking to my district governor colleagues, there is just no comparison. Our folks are prepared, they're engaged, they do a lot of work. People would kill to have our AGs. I mean, they really would, and it certainly makes it easier for me as a district governor. And last, of course, is, as I said earlier, we've got great Rotarians in this district. They've responded to all of Rotary's challenges over the years. You know, they're not afraid of any kind of challenge, and they haven't backed down from this COVID challenge yet either. People are coming up with creative ways to meet, creative ways to do service things, creative ways to try to have fundraisers, and I know that that's going to, you know, continue to move forward. So let's all have a great year together. Let's have some fun. Rotary needs to be more fun. And last but not least, thank you. Thank each one of you for being the leader of your club, because what you do really helps your club, helps your community. But most of all, thanks just for being Rotarians, because Rotarians make a difference in our communities around the world. And that's really the bottom line for me. So thank you all for being Rotarians, and thank you for being patient tonight. And if everybody's ready to go home, I'm going to push the magic end meeting button. This is when you shake your head up and down again and say, okay.
Thank you, Ron.
All
Thank you.
right. Brian,
Thank you,
thanks.
Ron.
Ivan, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Alan, thanks. And Ivan, let's talk maybe next week about the scholar thing, okay?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, send me an email and we can talk. So Lynda, thank you. Okay, well, and we'll try to get this recording to the ladies when we can. Okay, everybody have a great night. I'm going to end the
Thank you.
meeting on 3, 2, 1. So long.
Bang.